Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I am here to share with you my 2026 mid-year planner reset. Now, I didn't actually intend on doing a reset this year. When I started out 2026, I was pretty adamant that I was going to stick with the system I chose at the beginning of the year for the entire year. Um, Now, I have a lot of these A5 6 ring folders, and I have changed those out over the months, but I was gonna keep the guts the same, and if you remember from my earlier video, I was using, the Infinite Lotus, and it's been great. I loved it. I got a lot of really, good use out of them, as you could see, and I don't really have any complaints, about what I was using. However, I will say that when the mid-year planners came out and I wasn't going to get anything. I was doing great. But then I saw that Erin Condren was they had sort of redone their system and they were offering inserts for the A5. They also do it in the ring or in the coiled system that were both weekly and daily pages. And so that's why I had, chosen to work with the Infinite Lotus because you can kind of build it the way you want it. But I do love that Erin Condren paper, and I was missing uh, just planning on that Erin Condren paper. So I'm going to share with you in just a second what I have moved into over here. But I also want to kind of share with you some of the other systems that I have currently been using and things that I'm going to be moving into as well for the rest of 2026. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like before, let's start off with what I had been using. So this is an Archer and Olive. This is a B5. I had bought this quite some time ago. I have kind of a collection of them on my bookshelf. And what I was using this one for, I'm not gonna, I can show you this, but this was the notebook I was using for my novel that I just finished, which was Her Name Was Lola. And so you can see this has kind of gotten a bit warped and a little bit beat up. And that's of course because I take it with me everywhere and has traveled many, many miles over the last year while I was working on that book. And so this is basically the notebook I was using to take notes, to sketch out scenes, to, you know, kind of write notes and stuff like that about my characters. And I'm still using this notebook. And the reason why is because this book is currently, Her Name Was Lola, is currently with my editor. And that's going to be coming back to me at the end of August. So I'm going to have to keep working on edits as soon as I get that back. And I want to keep this notebook, obviously, because I'm going to be taking additional notes, marking anything I need to change as I'm working through my read through. I'm going to want to sort of do like a basic outline of the chapters that I have in place. So this one is not going to be going anywhere, but again, this is one I have been using. I already showed you the A5 that I was using and I'm saying goodbye to. She's going back onto the shelf, but I'm excited to show you what I have moved into to replace this. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then finally, for things that I had been using, this is also an Archer and Olive. This is an A5 size. I bought this, I believe this bookshelf design came out, I think it was it September of last year? And it's been waiting patiently on my shelf for me to pull her down and start using her. And so this is the journal I have moved into. So this is my personal thoughts and things like that journal. If you haven't seen the inside of these, it's really beautiful. That sort of gold foil bookshelf design. But this is my personal journal, personal thoughts, things I want to work through, things I want to change, any and all of those things. So this one's been coming with me everywhere as well. You can see it's got a bit beat up there. And while I haven't used them too much, I've kind of haven't been kind of using much washi lately. These are the washi tapes that went with this set. So I can kind of pull those all out because I did buy them and I do use them sometimes here or there, mostly in my planners, though not in this particular journal. But they're really, of course, pretty. Archer and Olive always does lovely things, and I love how they coordinate their washies with their journals that they put out. So now we're going to start moving into what the system is going to look like and some things that I've gotten over the last several months that are being incorporated into that system. And I know this looks crazy, but it's really actually not that complex. I've really simplified things quite a bit. But I wanted to share these notebooks with you. I've been to London twice in the last 3 months, and I bought these back in June when I went to the self publishing show. And one of the days after kind of the conference was, or the classes and stuff were over for the day, I went to a couple of the stationery stores, well-known stationery stores in the area, and came to it's called Choosing Keeping, and just absolutely fell in love with these massive notebooks. And so you can see it says right here, Choosing Keeping is the name of the store. You can look at this, like the green edges on this one. And they had many other designs, but of course, I had to take all of this home with me in my suitcase as well. These three giant books. And I fell in love. These were my three favorite designs. And so I wasn't really sure what the use was that I would have for them, but I just knew they were so unique and they were so beautiful. And I really just I wanted to have them. Well, since then, I have thought about, and since I have recently finished the first draft anyway, of Her Name Was Lola. And of course, now my brain is starting to kind of percolate and think about the next book I'm going to be working on. And I am having these feelings that I want to, if not in its entirety, at least in some part, I want to handwrite my next book. And I kind of thought, oh, actually, choosing one of these with these great big huge pages, and I just measured this before I started filming. This is 12.5 inches by 9 inches. So it's definitely probably not easy to travel with, but it will fit in my suitcase. And so I can actually take it with me. But I've just been really craving this tactile approach to my writing just lately. I think a slower, not feeling so rushed and pressured, and just more like being physically, if that makes any sense, um, involved with my book. And I don't know if maybe this is just because of all of the chatter and the push and the kind of getting away from, there's everyone's talking about AI and technology and all this. And I just feel this like huge resistance to all of that. And so I think it just is making me want to like dive back into paper and pencil, actually, like even more so. So I will share these as well. That these are a couple other things I got while I was at Choosing Keeping, and I didn't buy just these 4, I kinda bought, like, handfuls of both of these, but we didn't need to have them all on camera. I just loved these kind of black wood pencils. There's no eraser on these, and then I sharpened one so you could see, but this, sort of half red, half blue pencils, which I thought would just be great for, like, if I'm handwriting my book in, this notebook, and then as I'm reading back over stuff, I'm just envisioning, like, making corrections in pencil, as opposed to just doing everything on the computer and kinda not having, I don't know, I think you just, because you tend to change things and then you don't really see what was changed, and I'm just really kinda craving having this physical creativity with my book. So, anyway, that's kind of the plan, and because these black pencils didn't have an eraser, I bought this really cute, nice, big, huge eraser. So I got that as well. And this okay. This is okay, we're gonna wait on this because this is a slightly different conversation. But anyway, right now, as I see it, at least one of these books, these notebooks, I'm going to sort of use to kinda start working on my new book title. I have thought of a title. I don't know if it's going to be the one I end up on, but I'm excited to kind of dig in and get started on that. So we'll put those to the side. All right. And now before we get, I'm just gonna kind of finish up with the stuff I got at Choosing Keeping, which okay, those were from a different place. All right. So this gorgeous stationery. Now, I, at the beginning of this year, read The Correspondent, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the author's name off the top of my head right this second, but I loved that book so much. And I'll tell you, I found it so inspirational, and it was a beautifully written book, but also like it's really kind of made me like, and this kind of goes back to maybe also this desire to kind of handwrite my book, but I miss this, like, writing letters and cards and on beautiful stationery and things like that to people. And so when I was in Choosing Keeping, I saw these absolutely beautiful cards, and look at that envelope, lined completely in this design, and it just spoke to me, and so I bought that because I have also this really great desire to just start like writing more letters and, communicating with, people in my life in this sort of like physical way instead of just like firing off these like texts that, just kind of disappear into nowhere and, are not necessarily special or something you can look at, 10 years from now. I am actively I'm making an effort to start writing more letters to the people in my life, and it works out well because my daughter lives in a different state now. She's in dental school, and so I know she enjoys getting a letter or a card or something like that every so often in the mail. Don't we all? Yeah. So, but along with that, we're just going all the way in because I found this little, of course, the wax seal and the stamp, and it has an R on it for Rebecca that I have been using. It's a little extra, right? Like to to seal them up. And so I think it's just been fun and I've enjoyed it. But I was like, well, I want some other colors in the wax other than just red. So these I ordered on Amazon and you can see there's just like a multitude of different colors and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $10 or maybe for this whole pack. So that has just been a fun a fun way that I am just, I think, being creative in a practical way, but also like staying like connected in this like special way with the people in your life and that you love and they have these sort of mementos of you in this time of your life, as you're doing it. Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to show you these. These are still not planners, but I'll just share these with you really quick because in July, my daughter and I actually went to Tokyo, and I was there for about a week, and then I came home, but she continued on. She went down to, Kyoto and Osaka after we were in Tokyo, but one of the big things I wanted to do we did many, many very cool things. I have pictures on my Instagram account if you wanna go check those out. They're from July. But, I was really excited to go to, of course, some of the very famous Japanese stationery stores in Tokyo. So we went to, I think you pronounce it Itoya, and it's a 12-story stationery store, and I got several things while I was there. Mostly, let's first we'll stick into the theme kind of thing. I bought more stationery, which, I just think this was absolutely beautiful. And of course, you have to have the matching envelopes and also same in the blue. So I got those while I was there. But the one I love the most is this with the koi fish. And it's like this square paper, which I just thought was so unique and absolutely gorgeous. Um, so I got those while I was there, and these envelopes, look at how unique that is, such an interesting shape. Now, one thing I haven't investigated is because like, sometimes you have irregular shaped envelopes, but actually, I guess that wouldn't be that different than one of our legal size, so maybe not, but, sometimes if the envelopes are a different size, the postage costs differently, so I should look into that a little bit, but also just fell in love with these, and, I'm looking forward to using them and writing more letters, for the people in my life. Also got this cute little, bookmark. Now this one I did not get at Itoya. This one I found at we had been to one of the temples, and they have, like those gift shop. I use this in, the journal that I shared with you earlier is because of the cute little rabbits jumping in the waves, and I actually was born in the year of the rabbit, so it's kinda like my little spirit animal. So, anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. I think that oh, here's the last kinda thing I wanted to share, from Japan, and this is, a Pilot fountain pen, and I absolutely love the way this pen writes. I think I'm not sure, it's Prera, Pilot Japan, it says, and then this is the ink I bought. I'm pretty sure I can get replacement ink online as well, but I bought several packets of it just in case to last me a while, and I would say this is probably so far, my favorite pen. I love the way it writes. It's super smooth and, doesn't drag at all, and it has a really fine point. So, I have been very happy with this, and I use it all the time in my planning. Okay, so what I want to share now is actually so this is an older piece that I had, but I actually have brought it back and I'll show you why. This is a Moterm traveler's notebook in their passport size. Now, I've had this for quite a while, and also these little the notebooks that came with it, you can see are sort of in this craft paper notebook. What is new to me is this little sterling ink. This is just their passport size notebook. And I believe is it 520 pages this comes in? Okay, so let me explain this little guide to you. What I am using this for is this goes with me everywhere. And the reason why I decided to pick this is because often when I'm traveling, I'm out of town and I'm kind of bebopping around cities and stuff. I have kind of a series of square little purses that I carry with me. Here, I have them right here. I'll show them to you. So I'm either carrying around something like my Delphonics pouch, or I'm carrying around my little Kindle pouch. Or just recently, when I was in London for the self-publishing show, I met with the Spotify team and got this cute little corduroy swag bag. I love this so much. And so I actually walk around with this one quite a bit. And so I wanted something that was small enough that would fit inside any of those bags. This actually also fits inside my little Lululemon crossbody, just in case you're wondering. And why this is so handy and I love having this is because I have these sectioned off for different purposes. So in this first one, you can see I have a little notebook for business notes, book ideas, and this last one is YouTube ideas. And so there's filled in behind there. I just kind of have those title pages so I can share it with you, but everything else I kind of keep private. And then this notebook is for taking notes really about any of those things. So it's not going to be neat. It's not going to be set up. It's not going to be, it really is just anything and everything can kind of go in here that needs like a larger place to kind of kind of mark out those ideas. And so what do I mean by that? So these are mostly just kind of lists of ideas, and then if I want to kind of elaborate on any of them a little bit more, they go into this notebook that has a lot more pages. So, for example, the other night I had a layover in Hartford. And of course, as happens, I woke up in the middle of the night with like scenes happening for my next book. And so, if you're a writer, you know that this is true. You always kind of think, oh, I'll remember it. I'll remember it. And then, of course, you do not remember it. And so I have learned this the hard way over the years. And so I picked up my notebook and I started sketching out all these notes that I had about my next book. And it really is, it can just be like snippets of conversation. It could be a scene, a thought, any of those things. But I actually go to bed with this next to my bed at night as well. So that if that happens while I'm here at home or while I'm traveling, I always have it ready and available, and I can just jot those things down right there on the fly. One last thing I forgot to share from when I was in Japan, and this one I got at the that Itoya um, stationery store, which I think I mentioned it before, but it's 12 stories tall. And it's very skinny, and each like floor is quite small, but it was just really neat. It was very special. But I bought this 10-year diary, and so you maybe have seen these in the Hobonichis as well. I think they typically do like the 5 years, but this one is a 10-year, and so for each sort of section here, you just kind of write down what you were doing on that day, and you can see even though I guess we went in June, actually. We went to Tokyo at the end of June, but you just kind of write down a little snippet about what you were doing, that day, and so I have been mostly keeping up with this actually. And I really want to because if I keep up with this will last me all the way until I am 60 years old. And so I am very motivated to keep up this. Now, I would say because this one's 10 years and it's a smaller footprint than that Hobonichi A5 that does the same thing, but only for 5 years, you can't get as much, but it just really has to be concise. And so when I was using that other one, you could kind of, talk a little bit more. And plus, this whole side was blank. And sometimes I would write a bit here and then continue it on to the other side. But this really is just this little section here because, of course, this is for a whole other year on that day. So I love this because of its size. I liked that it was red, that it was cloth and hardback, and that it came in this nice little case like this. So this has been a lot of fun. I really am happy. I almost didn't get it because I was like, are you going to keep up with this for 10 years? But I think I have really enjoyed using it, and because I think it's just like such a small space, you don't have to write that much. It really is just kind of what you did that day, and then I use my journal, if I want to write anything a little bit more in depth about what was going on. So, anyway, that is for sure the last thing that I got from the stationery store in Japan. Okay, before we get to the A5 planner that I'm gonna be using, I wanna share this with you. Now, I bought this at a different stationery store in London. This one is in an entirely different neighborhood. It's called, is it called Ryman? Rymann. And they have tons of stuff. Like, and I would say this was, whereas that other stuff was definitely more kind of classical and really sort of beautiful and how would you even describe it? It almost had like a historic feel to it. This place was definitely modern. Like you would see like Hello Kitty stuff and, sort of the brighter, louder colors and, probably appealing to, kids a lot more as well. But the one thing I found there that I really, really just decided I had to have, and it was funny because at first I was like, why do I want this? Like I'm really drawn to it. And it's this 2026, 2027 hardback academic planner. So of course, this planner and started in July and it's a page a day. And this was another thing that I bought that it was calling to me, it was speaking to me, but I wasn't really sure like, okay, well, but what's the purpose that I'm going to have for this? I already have a planner that has a daily page in it. And then on my flight home, it occurred to me, I was like, oh, I know what I want to use this for. I want to use this for not not as a notebook necessarily about my next book, but about just my writing process in general. And so that every day in here, when I'm actually writing, I want to be talking about what the process was like for me. What were the challenges? What was easy? What part of the book am I working on? Like any sort of notes and thoughts to myself. I mean, it could be a little bit about the book as well, but I'm going to have like I had my for her name was Lola. I'm going to have a separate notebook that is just like my characters, my scenes, all that kind of stuff that's about the story. This is going to be about my writing, the actual writing, the process, like how many words did I write? For how long did I write? How did I feel while I was writing? What part of the book was I working on? Did I find challenging? That sort of thing. And so that's what this little book is going to be used for. And so I don't know why this like it just kind of seems like a plain little I think it's because it's just is so very school like and I mean I love black back to school season. I don't have anyone in my life, not my younger kids and I myself, I don't work in schools anymore either, but I still love that back to school feeling and back to school time and when the, weather starts to get cold and crisp again, here in Colorado. So, but this, I just, when you see something, you're just kind of really drawn to it and it's speaking to you. And so I didn't want to walk out of there with it. And it was without it, and it wasn't that expensive. Look, it was only 12 pound 99. So I was like, I'm very excited about this. So I was happy that I could think of a good use for it actually, because as I did in my like last video about finishing my book and kind of some of the struggles that I had with that, I think it would be very helpful to kind of document for me anyway. And like as I'm thinking through it, how I'm actually feeling while I'm working on that book, because I feel like I have like a similar kind of up and down cycle that I go through, and probably very similar challenges that happen when I'm working on every one of my books. So, anyway, that's what this will be used for. Okay, now we're ready to talk about the big guy, the main attraction, the star of the show. I have moved into my Vanderspec. This is part of their ready-made collection. So they have a series of planners on there that are already ready to go. And actually, if you order one of those, they ship really fast. Like I got this from FedEx in just a couple days. So this is, of course, this is a Rhapsody color. It is a beautiful sort of muted purple. And I didn't have any purple six ring binders. So I actually, when I ordered this when was it? Like April, I loved it. And I wasn't going to move into it until the fall. So this is like the perfect timing. I was going to put all of my Infinite Lotus inserts into it, but I decided not to do that because, as I've already said, I went ahead and ordered the Erin Condren daily life planner, and so I did the 18 months. So this is the part that's not until July. through December of 27. So this will stay packaged up until then. But when I tell you that this brings me so much joy, I absolutely love this, and particularly in this Rhapsody color planner. These inserts combined with that is just giving me life and making me feel I love being in this, and I love being back with the Erin Condren paper, which I don't enjoy writing on any paper quite as much as I enjoy writing on the Erin Condren paper. So while is it I was a little bit disappointed in myself that I couldn't stick with the planner inserts that I had ordered at the beginning of the year. I was also a little bit, you know what? You didn't go crazy at the beginning of the year. You just bought those inserts, recycle the paper. It's going to be fine. But life is short. Move into what you want. And I was just so happy to see that they had this new layout, and it's super functional. I'm very happy. So you can see that you have all the week page over here, and then it gives you kind of like a weekly overview of like you can like track 6 habits, what are your priorities, a big to-do list, some notes, and then you get into your daily pages. This has been making me so happy. I have in here what I do is I think I have through December of the end of this year with the weeks and the daily pages. And then starting in January, I just have the monthly pages in here. And the reason why I like to have at least, probably a year of monthly pages in my planner at any given time is because you're going to be making appointments, right? And like things in the future. So if I'm at, the dentist and I'm making my appointment for 6 months from now, I like to have my planner with me so that I can just put it in there right away. So that's why I usually keep like at least a year of the monthly so that I know like appointments and things like that are coming. And then if somebody's asking me like, "Hey, are you available X, Y, and Z in, May?" I can take a real quick look and see, actually, yes, I am right now. So, or no, I'm not. But we can just sort of see here, like it in practical use right now this is for August. And I am still using these little inserts that I created myself, in addition to this sort of broad overview for the week before you get started into the daily pages. And the reason why is because this page that I created has all of the domains that I actually want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And so I have like my writing, publishing, marketing, admin, business, finance, house and family, personal health, and travel. And this is just like, right, quick little jots about, I don't go into details. It's just like a quick list for each of these areas and things that I want to make sure that I'm managing and not forgetting for the week. And then I can use this page to delve into a bit more detail. And then, of course, when we get to the daily pages, even more. And so I have not regretted going back to Erin Condren, particularly with this new layout that I have absolutely loved. It just brings me joy to write on this paper. I don't know. I don't even know any other way to describe it, but I don't get as much happiness writing on any other kind of paper as I do when it's Erin Condren. So they're my favorite, notebooks and all of that sort of thing. So there's that nice little plug for Erin Condren, not that they necessarily need it. And so these are some of the inserts that were in my old planner. So we still have some of the stuff from Infinite Lotus, and let's see, an inbox page, my follow-on course. This is another thing I kind of created myself. It's just sort of a broad overview for the whole year. We can see I haven't done anything with this for the second half of the year yet. So that would be, I think I've just been so consumed. I was so consumed and busy trying to finish up the draft of that book that really that was all I was doing other than traveling in the month of July. So I'm ready to kind of, okay, well, what else do we have on our docket? There's other things we need to do. So then this is, of course, those pages that are the quarterly overviews. I still really like those. I think they're great for like that goal planning. And then this is just my brainstorm pages, projects. And I still have these goal planner pages, which I've already used, already created these. So I'll continue to use those. But I will be moving back into, let's see if I have any of them here. Yeah, the Erin Condren goal project pages once I'm like when I need to make new ones. So I'm not going to like waste these because I already have them written on there, but I will be switching over to the Erin Condren ones once I'm done with these. This one, of course, is for my basement shower, which if you got my last newsletter, you will know that I was going to hire a contractor, and then I got that quote for $14,000, and I was like, I don't think so. So I went down there and ripped out the drywall, and now I'm back to just handling that project myself. So anyway, I also wanna redo our laundry room floor. I wanna, like I don't know, I go back and forth with Notion all the time. I think it's very handy, but it can be very out of sight, out of mind for me. So I do kind of I wanna that's on my docket for this next quarter. And then my other big thing I'm working on is new covers for The Last Nanny and Once Upon a Lie. So when I got the cover design done for Her Name Was Lola, I had it professionally done. I had made these two covers myself. They were fine. I still sold books, but they do look different than the other covers in my genre, which of course is psychological thrillers. So when I did Her Name Was Lola, I decided, look, we're not going to try and DIY this yourself, and so I hired a designer to do it, and I loved what they did. Again, if you got my last newsletter, you saw that cover, reveal and then it's also on my social media, so if you wanna just take a look without subscribing, you can pop over to my Instagram and also my Facebook page, and you can see the cover there. But I loved it so much, and I decided I wanted all the branding on those books to be similar. So they just sent me the design for Once Upon a Lie, and I had two to select from, and I got it sorted on one, and I'll probably be sharing that in the next week or two. And I'm getting ready to contract them to also do The Last Nanny. And so whereas they're not obviously gonna be exactly the same covers, but they are they're all branded similarly, which was the goal. So that is a big project that is in process. I have this which I have hardly used. This was supposed to be like, when something is going on with the car, or if I have something medical that's going on, or any kind of appointment, like dentist appointments and things like that, like just at a quick glance, when did I do that? So I would like to go back and retroactively fill this in because this is a really great quick reference sheet. This actually came from my Filofax planner. And I love like a just sort of an overview like that. I just haven't really used it much this year. So anyway, I would like to get back into that. Business expenses, which this is another thing I wanted to list everything that was a reoccurring expense for my business. I haven't done that yet, but it is still on my to-do list. And then this is just, of course, a little catch-all pocket for any kind of receipts or anything like that that I need to keep track of. And then we're getting into some of the new inserts that I just ordered from Erin Condren. These are a couple of my daily like cleaning pages, or no, sorry, weekly cleaning pages that are left over from Infinite Lotus, my June brainstorm task, which I'm still taking care of many of those, and now in August. The reading list, just kind of books that I have been reading this year, running list of it, wish list. I actually have all of those, so I don't have any new wish list items. And then we get into I ordered the wellness, pages from Erin Condren, so this will be used, predominantly for, like, tracking my workouts. I have a gym nearby that I love to go to, and I also have a Peloton in my basement, so I think I would just like to have a better way of tracking when I'm actually doing it. Because the goal is always, like, at least 3 times a week, and, of course, with traveling, sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't, but I'd like to just do better at, like, tracking that and actually what it was. So, what it was and when I did it. And then I did get their meal planner as well. It has the shopping list over here and then the week's meals, and I can't decide if I wanna use this as a planner or just maybe a recorder because I don't really like planning out my meals. I don't have kids in the house anymore, and so a lot of times it's just like, what do we feel like eating? And Rod and I, quite frankly, we go out and eat a lot. So I might actually use this as just kind of like a what did we eat instead of like planning it out. And then I also bought their little travel inserts as well. I would like to have because I'm, in and out of my suitcase every week, and I would like to have kind of like a standing list, like a checklist of everything that I wanna make sure that I have with me every time I walk out of this house with my bags. And so I think this would just be handy to have out as I'm like, throwing stuff into my bag every week and just to make sure, like, do I have my computer? Do I have my, DJI? Do I have, running shoes? Do I have, any of the things? And because, even though you're traveling so much, like you're in and out of bags, like packing and unpacking constantly. And so it'd be nice just to have like a set list. And then additionally, create separate packing lists for when we're going on like vacations or like if I'm going to a conference for that week that I'm going to be out in Las Vegas. So anyway, that's why I bought those, and then, at the back here is just I have this little sleeve with those extra kind of weekly planning sheets that as I said, I created these myself just in Canva, and those are actually a really handy way. Those are the first thing I pull out and I use when I'm thinking about, okay, what do I wanna tackle for my week? And I love that it's divided into, these 8 different domains because then it allows me to just kind of focus on what do I wanna get done for my writing, my publishing, my marketing. And now I don't have something in, every single one of these domains every week because, right, obviously, different things are gonna be a different priority, depending on that week. But that has just really I really have enjoyed, having that, and then I use that to kinda continue planning for my week. So, anyway, I'm so happy to share this with you. This has been bringing me, so much joy. I love that I have finally moved into my beautiful Rhapsody, Vanderspec. Again, this is that A5. And oh, in case you're wondering, these rings, they're the larger rings, which is, of course, why this guy is so full. These are the 35 millimeter rings. And again, this is just from their pre made collection. It's pretty, in case you're wondering about these, it's pretty floppy. And I wondered if that was going to annoy me because I don't really like the floppy covers that I had from Erin Condren when they first started doing these as well. But for some reason, like this does not annoy me. And actually, when I have it on my lap and I'm writing, it's kind of nice because this side with the rings sort of falls away more. And so I find that the rings don't get as much in my way when I'm writing on this side of the page, right? Like my hand isn't running into these rings. So weirdly, I didn't, anticipate that would be the case, but I have been enjoying having this, more kinda loosey goosey cover, plus you can really kinda pack him up, and then if you're wondering, it does have this large back pocket, so you could put, like, a full sheet of paper back there. It has this nice deep zipper pocket over here. I think I just have like a little ruler in there. This is a full size pocket, half pocket, and then you have the secretarial flap in the front, another secretarial flap in the back. Room for just really these are kind of like almost like credit card slots. They don't go all the way down. Another pocket here, and then and I don't use these a lot. Like sometimes I think I have a couple stickers in here. These are the kind of the extent of stickers I use. I like these little dots from cloth and paper. And that's all I've been using. And then mostly you can see like I'll keep just paperwork. This is the address of I ran into somebody, a woman who had read my books and which is crazy when that happens, but I said, "Oh, I have a new one coming out." I said, "Thank you so much. Give me your address and I will send you a signed copy of it when it comes." And so I want to keep this here so I don't forget to do that. She was just very kind. And so want to make sure I get that sent to her. And it has 2 pen loops. Really handy. Actually, I want to see, instead of having this here, which I love, but you can see beautiful, my lovely fountain pen that I absolutely adore fits there just perfectly. So anyway, that's about all I have for my mid-year 2026 planner reset. I had not intended on completely switching everything over and out, but I'm so glad I did. Like, when you just kind of have a system and it's just bringing you so much joy and you're happy to dive into it every day. And it kind of makes like, getting that work done really just a lot more enjoyable, at least for me, because I love to cross stuff off a list all day long. And it just really helps me feel positive and productive on the things I'm working on. So I hope that you enjoyed this walkthrough. If you have any questions for me or any kind of content you'd like to see in the future, please let me know. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to get notifications when I have new videos coming out. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.